Good evening. I'm Joseph Landis, and I want to talk to you about what, in my opinion, is a uniquely Christian, American Christian tradition, and that is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or commonly known as Mormons. They were founded in Western New York in 1830 by Joseph Smith. Quick background on that: Joseph Smith was visited by the angel Moroni, to which he was given directions on where to find golden tablets or golden plates. On these golden plates are where the transcription was written for what later became the Book of Mormon, or the addition to the New Testament. So onto this, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints started in Western New York in 1830. Like I said, they quickly moved from New York to Ohio and again to Western Missouri in 1837. From Missouri, they moved to Indiana, and in Nauvoo, Indiana, they formed their own civilization after the Missouri governor issued Executive Order 33, banning Mormons from Missouri. From there, in Indiana, Joseph Smith and his brother were murdered, and in the view of the church, they were martyrs for Mormonism. And the Mormons then began their mass migration, their exodus to what was known as the Salt Lake Valley, later become Salt Lake City in Utah. And this was led by Brigham Young, and you now have Brigham Young University in Utah, obvious part of American history there. And in addition to that, you have Brigham Young becomes the first governor of Utah. So again, this is very entwined into the history of the United States. This is also the core belief system in this tradition, Christian tradition, is that members of the Christian faith came in 600 BC, came to the States, and they believe that when Jesus does come back to Earth, that he will come back in the United States and America, as it's known. So it is a very uniquely American tradition. It's very entwined with the history of the United States because of its time. Going from 1830 to present, it runs parallel to that history of the United States. And the reason I find them to be so important to the world and to the United States history, and again, like I said, it's spread throughout the world. That is largely because they're unique to your mission system, where they go onto your missions across the world to spread their beliefs. But what I want to say is the reason I believe it's important to the United States' history is it speaks a lot on Christian beliefs that go against the norm. It caused a lot of trouble. It caused a lot of chaos, and they faced a lot of persecution. And through that, it says a lot about what does America stand for? Where does America's freedom of religion begin, and where does it end? And their tradition, like I said, follows the history of the United States. The last thing I will say is that we've read before in this course that it's a common mistake for Christian theologians or historians to make the statement that to look through the history of America with a Christian presence, rather than look through the history of Christianity and how America is just one piece of that puzzle. And I find this to be true in all cases except for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, where you have a situation where the history of this church is part of the history of the United States, and not the contrary when we look at the enormous Christian tradition throughout the world and other faith groups and traditions and denominations.